everyone. I welcome you all to the podcast series of NMIMS Bangalore, NM Broadcast. For our today's episode on how to ace business conversations and presentation, we have with us Dr. Rajdeep Manwani, an academician, life coach, and counselor who is currently working as a coordinator in the Department of Commerce at Jain University. Dr. Manwani is a triple graduate and holds the record of being adjudged the best impromptu speaker for 5 years in India and Sri Lanka. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How are you feeling today?
Absolutely great. Absolutely great. How are you feeling?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. So today is a wonderful day to break the monotony of more than 9 months of lockdown till now, which for some was a much needed break, but however, some of us went through a tough time. Any suggestions which you gave to the students during difficult times that you would like to share with us?
I used to tell my students a story which was very interesting. There was this very famous king who called all his wise men of the country and he asked them a question. He said that, can you compile all the wisdom of the world and put it in one book? So all the wise men sat for a year and they compiled the wisdom of the world and they put it in one book. When he went through the book, he said, this is too much. Can you condense it into one chapter? So they all sat and they worked for another year and they compiled the entire wisdom of the world into one chapter. And the king wasn't satisfied. He said, oh my God, I have to read 45 pages. I don't want to read that much. Can you condense the wisdom of the entire 45 pages into one single page? So they did that too. Again, he wasn't satisfied. He said, okay, finally, I want it only to be one paragraph. And they sat for another 6 months and they made one paragraph. He said, oh, 10 lines. Can you condense the wisdom of the entire world into one single line? And they sat for a year and they came out with one line which condenses the wisdom of the world. The line was, this too shall pass. And I used to always tell my students that this too shall pass. It doesn't matter. We have gone through pandemics, we've gone through world wars, but nothing remains constant. You might be going through a happy period, you might be going through a sad period, but nothing remains constant. So I used to always tell them this too shall pass, and we just have to stay on to the fight till the end, right? So that's what I used to advise them.
Wonderful, sir. After this great insight, I will dive straight into my next question. Amongst all the changes taking place during these times, the major shift was in the education department where everything went online. So, you were a coordinator at a university. How difficult was it for you to adapt to this new normal?
There's a famous saying which goes that change is always difficult at the beginning, messy in the middle, but beautiful at the end. And so the same thing happened. It was difficult in the beginning when it started off. We had to get adjusted to the technology. I wasn't very good at using the technology. Then it became a little messy in the middle where I tried to do things, we tried to do, but now it's beautiful at the end. And now, as human beings, we keep adapting to situation, and that's the whole beauty of a human being, right? There's a beautiful saying which goes, your mother gives birth to you once, but you as a human being can give birth to yourself again and again. So this was like a rebirth of me in the technology avatar, and all of us, in fact, right from getting into classes to going on to the virtual movie, we have given ourselves a rebirth in the technology field, and now it's going on absolutely fine. So everything, as human beings, we adapt. So I think so. The adaptability and the way in which students and the teachers have taken up to technology has been absolutely great.
So, people in this environment are not really used to giving interviews even till this point, virtually, especially. You are an eloquent speaker, sir, and you have won several debates too. Would you like to throw some light on how can someone perform well in interviews, especially now that they are being conducted on a virtual platform?
Now, for an interview, whether it's on the virtual mode or on the real mode, three C's which go for any interview is your concepts, your confidence, and your communication. Are you good at the concepts for which you're applying for a job? So do you know the HR technique if you're applying for an HR manager? Do you know the techniques of selling? The second is the confidence. And sometimes we lack in confidence because we think that it's a different field and we will not be able to. So you have to keep those basics in mind. I think so. The basics, if they're kept in mind, your confidence should be absolutely paramount. And never go to the interview a little late because that will dent your confidence. Oh, I messed it up. Keep always a backup ready, when you're going through an interview so that in case your power fails on a Wi-Fi, you have your mobile data ready. So the confidence should be kept high. And lastly, the communication, the way in which you answer the interview. Sometimes what happens is when you answer, the way in which you answer is also very important. The way in which you modulate your voice, if you're very low on the mic or if you're not able to communicate, the vocal variety becomes very important because now you're communicating over a broadband. So all these three C's, the concept, the communication, and the confidence have to be spot on when you're giving a virtual interview. And besides that, all the other things will take care of themselves. So I think so. Any interview requires these three C's, and if you are able to do that well, you will be able to ace any business interview.
Rightly said, sir. Interviews have become very intricate and a very, very important part of our journey. They are actually a gateway to the cutthroat environment of the business world. So,
Mm.
according to you, how important are business presentations in such an environment, and how can one ace such presentations?
I was doing a research paper in May this year, just after the pandemic had started, and I was doing research on presentations and communication. And there was this very interesting article published in Harvard Business Review. And they had done surveys on how business presentations are they successful or not. And when they did the presentation and they said when the audience is more than 50, your chance of succeeding in a business presentation is only 48%. That means one out of two people won't understand what you said or they won't take home what you said. And they said when we correlated it to the virtual environment, the business presentation success has dropped to approximately 38%. That means only one out of three people whom you're addressing as a presentation on the virtual medium will understand what you're saying. But thank God the article didn't end there. It added one very important dimension. It said that if you are coherent, if you are complete, and if you are very, very effective in the way in which you present what you're trying to say, the success rate goes up by 30%. So when you're giving a business presentation, 48% goes to 78%, 39% goes to 69%. So business presentations are important. How do you put across your views? Your communication, the way in which you have to present anytime. Tomorrow you join a marketing job, an HR job, even an accounting job, you'll have to give presentations to your heads about what you have done, what you haven't done. But the most important thing is that your business presentation should be good. I always tell this to my students. There is no use of a PowerPoint if there's no power in your point. So keep this in mind. You might have a great PowerPoint business presentation, but you are not forceful and make your point clear. Your entire presentation will fall through.
Sure, sir. So you talked about coherence, but during these important business presentations, many times we ourselves have noticed that we lack confidence or are hesitant while presenting our thoughts, which sometimes lead to lack of coherence in our thoughts. So how can we overcome this issue?
There was this beautiful method actor from the US. The method actors are people who put themselves in a role when they are actually acting. Amitabh Bachchan,
Yes,
Nasruddin
sir.
Shah. So those are called as method actors. And there was this beautiful method actor from the West. His name was Michael Caine. And they had asked him, how do you act so naturally? How are you so confident on stage? How are you so confident while facing the camera? And he used to say something very beautiful. He used to say, rehearsal is hard work, performance is relaxation. Rehearsal is hard work, performance is relaxation. And I think so. The only way in which you can develop confidence in your life is doing it again and again. If you're uncomfortable doing a business presentation, go in front of your class, take those opportunities and go and present. Go and do something which you have not done before. Maybe you have not tried a PowerPoint presentation with Flash. So try it out. Maybe you have not done a presentation for more than 30 minutes. Try and give it for 40 minutes. Ask yourself this question. The more you put yourself in a difficult situation and try and do something which you haven't done before, after you've completed it, you'll feel so good. Oh, I hadn't given a presentation for half an hour, but today I gave it for half an hour. And when you come down, you'll feel a little better than what you had done before. So just remember that a real estate agent, if you ask him what's the most important thing while buying something, buying a building, he'll say location, location, location. But if I ask you to say a student who has to give a presentation, I'll say, what's the most important thing in order to give a good presentation and to gain confidence in your presentation? I will say preparation, preparation, preparation. So prepare, go and do it again and again, and you'll develop the confidence. And always ask yourself this question: when was the last time I did something for the first time? When was the last time I did something for the first time? So just push yourself a little outside the comfort zone, and then you gain a little more confidence.
Yes, so confidence is indeed the key. So we read that you always wanted to make a difference in society. That is one of the main reasons why you chose to be a motivational speaker and a life coach. After being in this field since many years, did it bring you one step closer to your goal?
Definitely. I have this very big dream of touching the lives of at least 1 crore people in my lifetime. So, by speaking to students, by addressing gatherings, I have come a little closer, but it's all work in progress, right? So, we always are work in progress. And I've always believed one more thing, that as human beings, if we are going to touch the lives of only 10, 6, 8 people, our family, our friends, we are living a life which is equivalent to that of an animal, because even a goat feeds its family, even a buffalo feeds its family. And if you are going to be like a goat or buffalo, just taking care of 5 people, 6 people, 8 people, then what's the use of being a human being? So if we don't touch, at least make it a point to touch at least 10,000 lives. I have made it an objective to send 1 crore life. Unless we do that, we are not returning back to society what we have consumed from society from such a long period of time. So I am a little closer, but the work is still in progress.
Yes, we do inspired by your life. Now we are coming to the end, but before that, would you like to share a last piece of advice with our audience?
Hmm. I had told this in my TED talk also, and I'll share this advice. One thing which made an impact on my life. When I lost my eyesight when I was in my 8th standard, and I was very upset, and I was I was a very good cricket player. I was a voracious reader. I used to top my class, and I suddenly lost my eyesight due to macular degeneration. And I was sitting in my room crying bitterly, and I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned back. It was my father, and my father told me something which changed my life, and I want to tell this to all of you all. He told me, "Beta, don't keep your dreams in your eyes. They'll wash away as tears. Keep them in your heart so that each heartbeat reminds you to achieve those dreams." So I want to tell the same message to all of y'all. Don't keep your dreams in your eyes, they'll wash away as tears. Keep them in your heart. Be passionate about what you want to do in life. Do everything in the best possible manner, with all your heart, with all your soul, so that each heartbeat reminds you to achieve the dreams. Because when you put in your best, God will do the rest. But if you don't put in your best, God will take rest. That's what I want to tell you.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today. We were very grateful to have you here.
So much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.